reality. You must ask believing as you go into the asking of the client to buy your product, to buy your service. You must ask with the belief that it will happen, because at the end of the day, what will it cost you to just believe that the client will agree to what you are asking them to, sort of like buy from you? All right. Next, you must ask specifically. You've got to ask specifically. That is critically important. When you're asking, you want to know, what am I asking for? Vagueness is the enemy of progress. Like they say, you cannot chase two rabbits and catch anyone. You don't chase two rabbits and catch anyone. So you want to ask in a specific way, all right? And then number 5, you want to ask big. I was listening to a podcast of a Nigerian comedian by the name of The Stalker. He said he went somewhere and a very wealthy man says to him, "Can I have your number?" And he didn't understand what the wealthy man was asking for. He now said to this guy, he now gave the wealthy man his account number. No, the wealthy man said, "No, I didn't ask for your account number. I asked for your phone number." The wealthy man said, "Well, since you've given me your account number, how much do you want?" He said 500,000 naira. That's like 500 pounds. He's a billionaire. So the man collected his phone, took his account number, and he transferred the 500,000 naira, the 500 pounds into the comedian's account. And then the rich man told the comedian that next time a rich man asks you for how much do you want, say call a big amount. Don't call small money. And that was a big lesson for me as well. Don't ask small, ask big. Because you never can tell if that person will say yes. A second thing about asking is, I heard the story of a Nigerian billionaire that was about to employ a certain gentleman to work in his company. And then he asked the gentleman, "What do you want?" Because the gentleman said to himself that I'm gonna ask for really crazy things to get this guy offended. Because I mean, if they want me on this job, they have to do this. So the billionaire asks this gentleman, "So what do you want?" He says, "Well, I want a house in the posh part of Lagos in Ikoyi. I want my children to go to this private school. I want to go on holiday twice every year, and I want the company to buy me a property." And then the multi-billionaire looked at him and said to him, he said, "Is that all?" The guy said yes. Then the billionaire told him, he said, "Done." I thought that was brilliant. He said done. Because he asked. He asked. So the question is, are you asking? And the last part of this is, you've got to ask shamelessly. You've got to ask without shame. Don't be ashamed. Just ask. What's the worst thing that will happen? They'll tell you no. And if they tell you no, what? It doesn't mean anything. Really. All right. So today, I would like for you to do the following thing. Before I tell you about what I want you to do, remember this episode of the Paul Fo podcast was powered by Veritasi Homes. Veritasi Homes is one of the fastest growing real estate development company in Nigeria. In fact, if you live in London, they are doing a conference on the 21st of October. I'm going to be anchoring that event. Details will be coming out very, very soon. So this episode was powered by Veritasi, and this episode of the Paul Fo podcast was also powered by VP. VP is one of the fastest growing banks, fintech banks in Nigeria and in the continent of Africa. All right. So who do you need to ask for a favor today? Ask them. Who do you need to ask for an opportunity today? Ask them. Where have you been? Your page literally disappeared. Thank you. You are here now. I didn't go anywhere. Who do you need to ask to buy from you today? Ask them. Just ask. Because if you ask, those of you watching this on YouTube, please click on the subscribe button and subscribe for more videos. Those of you listening to this on the podcast, please smash the subscribe button on Spotify and on Apple, and drop a comment if you think this was useful to you. So my podcasters and my YouTubers, I want to say thank you very much. Let me continue with my Instagrammers. All right. So